Okay, so here's another reason. So here's another reason what's wrong with the coding of this game. I went outside of this game. I went to get something to eat, came back. It was on the PlayStation menu outside the game. Now, originally I thought if you go outside of the game as you're playing it for more than 5 minutes, it will kick you. But apparently, once the game is bugged, it won't kick you from outside the game. You see, it's bugged now. It's supposed to be on multiplayer mode right now. Multiplayer is supposed to be on, messages are supposed to be on. Even if you have it on solo, these are supposed to still be on and showing. This bug not only does not allow you to click on multiplayer and messages, it also screws up your ability to be kicked. So their own code they put in the game to kick you if you go outside of the game is now screwing up the fact that now you're... So they have two codes that are messing with each other. Either the bug that kicks you from the game, and they try to put another bug fixer to fix the bug that allow you to not be kicked out of the game, which you're seeing right here. But by that patch for that bug that kicks you out of the game, once you go outside into PlayStation window, once that is in effect, and this is just what I'm assuming, once that is in effect, it closes out this window and this window. But you're not able to get kicked out of the game anymore once you go outside into the PlayStation window. However, you're now locked into the game and you can't use multiplayer and messages anymore. You would have to quit the game. Like, I could quit the game now. If I quit the game now, I have to go back, quit, and hopefully that solves the issue. Go right back to the game all over again. Main screen. And the problem should be solved from where I was standing. So it should put me right back to where I was standing. And the message for multiplayer should be on, and we'll see. So what I'll do to test this out to see if it's still there, that there are two bugs in here. There's the ones that are fixing the bugs, and the bugs itself, because of the bug that is fixing the bug, screwed it up and create another bug. So whatever the patch is, screwed up doing its job and creating the different type of bug. Because this is for PlayStation 4, so maybe they didn't adapt it well. So here it is. Once you start the game again, it just goes back to normal now. So I'm going to quickly get out of this window by pressing my PlayStation button in the center, and then hurry go back into the game and see if it's going to still be on, or it's going to kick me. If it kicks me out of the game, I'll see. Alright, so I did that. Okay, so I did that really quick. So if I press it outside of the game real quick to look at something from my messages, if it doesn't exceed, I'm assuming if it doesn't exceed more than a minute, then the game won't kick you. So if it falls, I believe it falls between the minute marker, the game will kick you. You'll still be able to move around in the game. However, I believe if it goes over a minute or 5 minutes, then the game voluntarily kicks you out of the whatever you're doing. And this has happened to me multiple times, so that might be the bug, and they might patch it up to deal with that bug that voluntarily kicks you out of the game. But that patch, whatever it is that fixed that bug, also creates a different bug that locks in the message and the multiplayer. So that's not a big thing for me if you're playing solo, but it might be a big thing for you if you're playing in multiplayer. So I'm taking 2 points away from the game for this. Not major points like a whole full ones, just like a 0.1 and a 0.2. Minus 0.1 and 0.2 for that, because one for it shouldn't, that bug is there and it's present. That's the negative point for it. Another negative point is that their patch for that bug it screwed up and create a different type of problem. So that's another negative point for that as well. So I'm going to continue to read down and proceed forward. Yeah, these weapons are incredibly great once you get them. I highly suggest getting them when you can. This is the Jellyfish Shield, and it's extremely awesome. And it has 100 physical blocking, so it could block any attack regardless of what it is. Its dexterity is great. It has 14 dexterity. Its strength is okay. But its strength for scaling is C, which is great, because most shields, their scaling is still at D and E, but its scaling is at C, and it does 100 blocking. It doesn't require a huge amount of attributes. It only requires like 20. Whereas this one has less blocking capabilities. Well, I actually upped this to about 4. And this is about up to 4. So yeah, this have more blocking capabilities, even though I up both of them to 4. And this one has less blocking capabilities. Well, it has the same guard, but it has more electricity guarding, but total power requirement on this is less than this one. Plus its dexterity is less than this one. So the dex required to use it is about more for the Jellyfish Shield and less for this weapon. But the attribute for scaling for this for the shield is much more required, where this is much less. So this could get to a higher scaling level if you wanted to get this to a higher scaling level. Whether it's this, if you max this out, it will still be below this one. And plus they both have critical. About the only thing good about the shield is that it has electricity damage capabilities that you could use on the enemy and does high electricity damage, and it has guard boost, where this one's guard boost is less. So it really depends on what you're going for, because if you check this one out, this one has better guarding against magic, better guarding against fire, better guarding against anything that's elemental, but its physical blocking capabilities is bad. Plus it has a strength of E, but it requires a lot of required attributes in order to use it. So it's not that great for using when you're early game. But this one you can find really early game, and you can use it from the beginning of the game, past the 5% marker of the game, all the way to the mid game. I'm using it right now, and I'm probably going to use it fighting against Radon. So that's great. You should get that. And when you get the opportunity, I highly suggest getting the Commander Standard as well. Because what this does is, even though this is not as great as this one, when it comes to power damage, it does have better lightning capabilities if you want to use lightning capabilities on your weapon. So it buffs whatever lightning attributes you're going to... I mean, it negates lightning more than any other weapon. If lightning is cast upon you, it negates it, especially if you're using it to block. So it negates lightning damage capabilities. But it also, after you're using it, once you use it for its powers that comes with the weapon, also buff your lightning power capabilities as well, or buffs your rallying your power for your defense and lightning capabilities. So yeah, your attack power goes up for lightning as well as if you're blocking, it goes down for lightning. So that's necessary when you're casting spells using lightning capabilities, and that's very powerful because there's a dragon strike, lightning strike, something like that, and you use this to buff up that ability as well, that spell, and that'll be great. And then you don't never have to worry about struggling in the game if you get the dragon lightning strike and you use this. But there are other methods to use dragon lightning strike with various other weapons as well. All I know is if you use a weapon that has a buff lightning capabilities or lightning negation capabilities, it will protect you from taking more lightning damage, even from your own stuff. I haven't come across taking damage from my own weapons yet. I don't think this game has you taking damage from your own weapons. But if it does, then I have my Jellyfish Shield to protect me with regards to that. So highly suggest you get these weapons. Now this doesn't do more damage than my Halberd, even though you get this later, but this is a poker. So if you want to keep enemies away. Its range is far more distance than the halberd, because the halberd has to come down with a chop, where this one goes for the quick stab. It takes you a while to do the stab, but it takes you much, it's like 1 second faster, or 0.5 second faster than the halberd during its chop. See, I'll show you. So that's that. It seems fast, but how many times can you do that? 1, 2, 3, 4. See, the time it takes you to keep spamming your R1 button. Within each of these swipes, there's an opening, a 1 second opening for an enemy to do an attack on you. But with the commander standard, there's no opening for them to get any attack on you, because you just shout, you're just doing a piercing attack forward. Pierce forward, pierce forward, pierce forward, and pierce. Then that means the enemy's strength is versus pierce, so you have to quickly switch to a different weapon. If you have your endurance up to a high level, that you have 2 heavy weapons on. One that does mostly damage with slash, and the other that does mostly damage with piercing. Oh, let me see here. But I don't think these weapons, I don't think any weapon in this game shows you that it does pierce damage capabilities. I think it just, every single weapon in this game simply has the damage it does, the lightning ability it has, the holy ability it has, and the quick it has, and the scaling for the weapon. So it doesn't tell you exactly how much piercing it does, how much slash it does, or anything like that. So that's a takeaway from the game. I would take away from the game that it doesn't show regards to how much something can do. Whereas opposite, it shows how much something can do with regards to the armor. So I don't understand why they did that, but I do appreciate for the armor at least, so that's good. But they didn't do it for the weapons. So whatever positives I give for armor scaling and understanding which one works, I take it away for weapons, and they didn't show which one works. So that's it. That's all I wanted to say. I'm pretty sure my network is gonna go down. It's not this game is not really tailored for slower networks, so that might be an issue. So I'm gonna just play and hopefully get to a certain point. But I just want to make sure about I speak about these different type of weapons, how you can get them early in the game, or at least follow past that people write about it online to get early in the game. But they're both beneficial. One, you cast the ability of your shield, you get a good defense or attack power. I'm not sure. I think it's a good piercing attack power to your weapon, so it'll pierce the enemies. You'll have more power in order to attack power to do whatever you need to do. So it gives you a buff. And then towards your standard will also give you a buff. So now you have that and this. I believe you're supposed to cast your standard first, and then cast your jellyfish shield at last. So that's how that works. I think the standard goes first, then the jellyfish shield goes last, and then you cast your magic abilities. So standard first. Yeah, standard first, then jellyfish shield after, and then if you have whatever magic you have on, if you have the whatever magic you have on, you then cast the magic itself by using it. So when both of them are on, see the powers come off now. So now I go for the standard again, me try this again. That. And I don't have any more juice to cast the ability, but if I did, yeah, if I did, I would cast the ability. But I don't have any more juice, any more FP. So that's basically it for using magic by buffing yourself first before you use the magic. Because after I buff myself with the Commander Standard, then I buff myself with the Jellyfish Shield. After I buff myself with both these things, I then cast the ability. That's in the right hand. So yeah, don't have any now, but that's what I'm supposed to do, or that's what everyone who's going to play the game is supposed to do. So that's just a little tip if you don't know that already. So just keep that in mind. But you can find this information online. I don't have to tell anyone anything about it. They can find it by themselves online. Okay, now I'm gonna go to Radon, and hopefully I get to the castle and see who I need to see. Probably gonna fight a mini boss before that, but we'll see. Another issue about the game that no one seems to be talking about: controlling your mount and in combat is janky all over the place. It's not only about the lock on, but when you're trying to fight and hit the enemy and get in close quarters and get around them, because you could run fast to get around them, you have to be in tight quarters and they have to move around. But since due to the fact that your weapon can only go so far, you have to close the gap. But by staying away and then knowing when to close the gap, it's difficult, because once you run away, you then have to make this huge arc turn and then come back to the enemy, and hopefully you don't get hit, so you now have to make another huge arc turn and then go back to the enemy. So mount combat is very difficult to do, mainly because of the lock-on feature, because you're locking on a single target. When you try to move around on the mount, it's far more difficult to do so than when you're trying to locking on the ground, because one, you're not moving at that speed, so they have to like adjust the way to do the lock on mechanics, because sometimes you could swing and completely miss the enemy when they're right next to you, like right within range of hit, and you completely miss the enemy. But I think I already spoken about that. Once you lock on and hit, and that has nothing to, now that I think about it, that has nothing to do with the mount, but the mount combat based on its speed does add towards that frustration. So that's not a huge that's not a 1 point off, that's more like a 0.05 off, because you now have to add that factor of that speed to the fact that lock-on sometimes behave shitty, and the fact that sometimes you directly hit the enemy and it goes straight through the enemy, or don't hit the enemy at all. So that's a problem as well. I got hit too many times that I wasn't supposed to, and the enemy should have been hit, because even if they're out of range, the swipe itself, the wave from the swipe itself should have hit them. You don't have to the actual weapon doesn't have to directly hit them. The force from the weapon as well can hit them, and sometimes it ignores the force as well. Sometimes you have to directly hit them with the weapon, and even when you directly hit them with the weapon, sometimes it doesn't even work. It's like you have to hit them specifically at a certain time, or you have to basically slow down your mount and then start to hit them. Like you can't go like incredibly fast speed and then hitting them at incredibly fast speed. You then have to slow down your mount a little bit so you could do the hit. Just slow it down a little bit. You can't go at top speed and hit them. You have to slow it down just a little bit for it to actually work. Otherwise you'll always have problems that way. So that's not a huge thing, it's a minor thing, but it's been kind of an annoyance since I started to play the game. Like I could be standing right next to an enemy on horseback and going at top speed, but I'll have to slow down my mount simply to slow down the animation so I could actually get a proper hit off. So I'm not sure if anyone has that issue, but I'm having that issue as well. And I know it's not on my end, because sometimes when I swipe, I go straight to the enemy. I literally have to slow down my mount for it to actually do a hit. Like literally, it could go straight to the enemy's legs, and because I wasn't pointing directly at the enemy at the time, even though the lock-on is on, like I'm pointing in this direction and the enemy's here, but the lock-on is still towards the enemy. Is there still a lock-on enemy? I guess the game points towards the direction that I'm looking instead of swiping in the direction the lock-on is on. I don't know. I don't get that at all. So I'll proceed forward. The game is good, but it's just the shitty things that makes it bad sometimes. Okay, so I must be going crazy or something. Because the enemy came right here and all of a sudden he teleported. So, is this game basically saying once the enemy goes past a certain distance, they automatically teleport their location? Typically, you see them right in front of you, they back off to that location. They don't just instantaneously teleport back to that location, unless the location is too far. So, basically, the game is saying this location is too far, or too close to the Grace. So if they're too close to the Grace, they teleport. I guess it's just kind of weird, but I want to see. I want to see if I could bait them in another way. So what it is if I don't have to fight them, I don't have to fight them. I'm gonna fight them by using different tactics. It doesn't necessarily have to be a brawl all the time. So I'm going to try different tactics. So maybe, let's see here, but this door is closed, so it's not a good spot. He comes up this way, runs up the stairs, come here. He can't jump all the way up here, so you have to go all the way around. Let me see. So he doesn't come this way because he can't jump up here, so you have to go all the way around. Let me turn up the volume just in case his footsteps are too close. So I'm trying to figure it out. Okay. Alright, so if I find a little cubby hole, well, not wrong word to use for that. I find a door or a little hiding spot to bait them into a hiding spot and destroy them like here. But this is a bad area, so that's not good either. Unless this door is a good area, then that's good. So let's... Can I access this door? I can't access this door, so that's not a good spot either. See, I could kill them with my arrows, but that'll take a damn long time. I could stand on top of an area that they can't reach to, but there's no guarantees I'll be able to jump slash them downwards and kill them fast enough. The only indication that they could go within a certain range is by the door, but they can't go beyond the door, because if they try to do a slash, the moment they slash beyond the door, they get teleported. I wonder if I could bring them here. If I could bring them through here, would they automatically teleport? Because if they can't go through this door, it'd probably be the same thing. If they're too near the Grace, they'll be teleported. So I'm going to see if I could bait them out coming this way and see what happens. If not, I'll just see if I could... Let me see. No. No, it's not a good idea. So you come all the way, you jump over these things, and then come up here. This is a tree. Can you get through this path here? You probably can. Probably could definitely slash through this area. Let me see what this person put. No Elden Ring ahead. Alright. Definitely could get around the tree. Yeah, so not chancing that. I mean, it's funny that this game is considered a 10 out of 10, and you're not allowed to set up traps or anything on the floor or anything. It's bizarre. I guess you could just go with what you got, though. Alright, so that's fine. Can't go to that door. There's no door up here. The safest one. I'll have to try to drag him. Yeah, I'll have to drag him. I'll have to do this a long way. I don't feel like fighting this dude, but you know, if I have to, I have to. You see, this is what I'm talking about. See, this is what I'm talking about. This game is fickle. Sometimes you do things one way, sometimes it totally ignores that thing. And then there's this bizarre thing that if you aim like this, and then you press the L2, if you shake your controller just a little, it'll move. But if it doesn't, then it's, I guess it's just my controller, or maybe I'm looking too much into it. But maybe I need to wait some more on the stairs. Okay, that's what it is. I needed to wait some more on the stairs for him to come. Okay, now did you teleport again, dude? He teleported again. So, that's the strategy. It's another strategy. There's many strategies to beat this game. Is either you could go and try to be hardcore and head on, or you could just fool the game. Either way, this game is meant for you to strategize to beat your enemy. Not every enemy you have to fight in the world head on. So, that's one strategy. Lead them into a corner, ambush them in the corner because they're too big, they can't go through the door, and that's it. So I'm gonna do the same thing, but this time I'm gonna try that for melee. I was wondering why it wasn't working before, and I realized the reason why it's not working, because after it takes a while for you have to stay on the stairs for a while, wait till you hear that he's going all around, let him see you. Yeah, there he sees you. Then let him chase you. Alright, so now see, damn, I didn't get him before he teleported. I wanted to get him before he teleported. Damn it. Alright. It's a little pain in the ass, but at least you don't die straight off all the time. As long as you have about 100 arrows in the world, you can take care of most foes with the arrows if you use a strategy. And your bow doesn't even have to be that strong either. Just wait for on the stairs to hear that he's halfway around. Come through the door. Alright. Come on, man. You telling me you can't get him there? That's bullshit. It has too much range, man. It has too much range. This weapon is a very long weapon. It should have hit him. Doesn't make sense. See, when you go that way, I fast there. Alright, let's try this again. Come on. Lock on, damn it. Come on. I don't get this. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm gonna have to fight this fool straight head on. I guess the stairs give me a false sense that the distance is closer, but the distance is further. So that's fine. Alright. I'm gonna do this the right way this time. I should have fought him the same way the whole time, but it's whatever. Why fight a arduous battle when you could fight a tactical one? Too damn early. Way too early. Damn it. Alright, so I know what to do now. Let's get their health down to half and then rumble rather than the whole thing. It's all about timing in this game. It's unlike the other games. Well, the other games were about timing too, but this is more like timing accurately. Because some enemies will take forever before they do a swing just to see what you're about to do. If their animation is animation, they assume you're not going to do anything, but the moment they go for it, then you dodge out the way. So it's kind of reading the AI, so I'm whole skill set or motivations based on its programming, not its skill set. Okay, so you see it for yourself. There's an issue with the game actually doing things a certain way. It acts up sometimes, and it doesn't act up sometimes. So there's a lot of issues with regards to how the AI is working, because the AI is basically operating on the assumption that you're going to be within close range of your enemy. It does factor in the bow, but apparently it doesn't factor in the bow at all times. See, the enemies are searching around trying to find you. It sees you, but for some reason it cannot go up there and go after you. It wants to go after you, but it can't do so because it's set up based on the animation of the bot is supposed to be close into this area, where the animation of the bot for the other one I killed is supposed to be closed in for the outer area. So they made this specific bot incapable of moving beyond this point. Or it could be the fact that you decided to not initiate this bot's pursuit on yourself. So you would have to go down there and initiate the pursuit for it to actually follow you. Otherwise, it will never follow you. It sees you, but it can't follow you. Or it doesn't see you. It just knows that you're present, but it can't follow you, which is kind of weird because it's actually looking at me. So, but it can't do anything about it. So that's another issue with the game. I mean, I don't know what people are talking about 10 out of 10. Like, does this behave like a 10 out of 10 to you? Come on, man. I know the whole leading them into a trap area and then killing them is one thing, but this has nothing to do with that. So I like the creativity of the enemy and everything. I like the location and creativity and all that, but I'll get to the positives. I'm just pointing out what people probably don't see, or they probably do see and they chose to ignore it. So just looking at things from a larger perspective, that's all.
Thought I might find you here. I must admit, I was a little worried. We missed our meeting. But it looks like you're still in one piece, eh? You must have heard by now, right? That Starscourge Radahn holds Rani's fate in stasis. But once he's out of the way, it will spring back into motion. So now, we stand against the demigod once known as the strongest of them all. The way ahead is pleasingly simple. We fight, sword and fang. Into the fray together, eh? Let's see what you're made of. Into the fray together, eh? Let's see what you're made of.
Came. How delightful. Indeed, I thought I might find you here. By the by, do you know for whom this festival is being held? Well, it is none other than General Radahn himself. To think, I could face a great champion of the Shattering, a demigod in the flesh. Oh, in truth, I quiver at the thought. Such is his frightful repute. But the fear simply assures me the ordeal is worth undertaking. Be sure to get a good vantage, my friend. I, Iron Fist Alexander, do hereby vow to unflinchingly brave this ordeal. Be sure to get a good vantage, my friend. I, Iron Fist Alexander, hereby vow to unflinchingly brave this ordeal. Be sure to get
Into the fray together, eh?
Alright, so this is where I'm gonna stop. I gotta get on a different game, probably get on Warframe. Probably streaming that one. If things hold up well. But it's mostly gonna be about me helping my client in that one. If I stream that one. And the graphics for that one might shut down. So, who knows. What I don't get is, like, I'm streaming and a commercial pop up on my video. So I guess that's how it works when people watch a lot of the video. Because I don't know, I don't have like millions of people watching. So it's kind of weird that that's the case. So I guess my network didn't go down, it just skipped. My network didn't go down, it just skipped my video and went straight to a commercial. So that's bizarre. I guess that's something that happens though. So it doesn't really matter. I'm not helping YouTube out, and YouTube's definitely not helping me out. But I guess when I'm using their platform, it's kind of helping them out. But that's about it. Just using their platform. So yeah. But I'm gonna stop here. And what I am going to do before I fight Radahn is I'm going to look for more people to put in this room. Now, I'm not exactly sure how many NPCs can be in this room. So far, I've met Rani's NPC, her hound. And then I met the pot guy along the way. I don't see Patches, unless Patches is here. He should be here. I don't see him here. I heard Patches was supposed to be here, but he's not. I don't know what these damn things are anyway, so I'm curious about them. I see them all over the damn place. I believe they're like memorial indicators, like places to worship, or grave location indications. But there's no description of what they are, and usually people just write stupid crap on them anyway. Yeah, see, they just write stupid crap on them. But I believe that's part of some type of memorial service thing, or indication of vantage point in the game, or it could be something as not, you wouldn't even know that is placed in the game, but it could be something for just the game itself to stabilize the game. As you create something like a bot in the game, you need something to represent its anchor in the game to connect certain pieces. It could be something that simple, and people might assume it's something that's purposely meant. It could be something simple like that, but who knows? I'm pretty sure there's ways to make those things invisible, or maybe there isn't. I don't design games, so I wouldn't know. But I have read up about video games being able to have those things in place. But you wouldn't know that unless you actually do the research about it, so I'm not exactly sure that's the case. But what I will do is I will see if I could fit as many NPC characters in here. I got 2 so far. I believe Patches was supposed to be here. These might be people who have played the game or are playing the game, or are just waiting in here, just staying here. Or these characters that are shown here of different characters are actually characters that you have to find. This character you have to find, this character you have to find, and this character you have to find. Because typically when it's a player that's playing, that player would eventually stay there and be invisible and then disappear after a time if they're playing. So the moment they move, I guess the animation disappears, but these people are probably AFK right now. But I'm pretty sure, I'm 100% sure, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm probably 80% sure that you could fill this room with at least 1 or 2 more NPCs before fighting Radahn, so that they could get a full aspect of the quest, like how many people you could fit in here while this guy's giving his speech up there. So I want to see if I could find those people before I fight Radahn, simply because I want this specific fight to be fun. I don't want anyone to assist me in this fight or any other player. I just want to use my summons and being able to summon other characters. Or maybe that's the thing, maybe you're allowed to do certain quests so you could summon other powerful characters, not use your own summon. Like him, I could summon him in battle. I've seen it online, people have done it. And Pot Bro here, the pot guy, Alexander, you could summon him in your quest as well, in the fight against Radahn. So I'm pretty sure there are other characters you could summon that are going to be in this room to fight against Radahn. Because if you could summon this guy and this guy, that's already 2 summoned characters you could summon into combat with you. I believe the maximum amount that you could summon, based on your inventory of summon types. Let me check equipment. So these are 3 guys. Actually, I don't believe there's a limit. I believe that as long as your FP is high as hell, you can summon a lot of characters. Your FP will have to be ridiculously high, because Oleg demands 100 FP, and this guy demands 59 FP. So you would need like 300 FP to summon like 4 characters. like if for powerful characters, like around Oleg level, you will need to have 400 FP to summon powerful characters that are around Oleg level or near Oleg level, like Kaiden. So you can summon Oleg, summon Kaiden, and then two powerful allies that are also FP of 100 or 80, and then that should be the amount that you could summon to assist you in combat. But how high you would have to raise your FP, your mind, in order for that to be possible is a ridiculous amount. You would probably have to have a mind of 100 to get 400 FP. See, my mind is just at 30, and I have 59 FP. 30 to 59 FP. Let's just round that off and say 60. At 30 mind, you get 60 FP. Let's just round it off and say 60. So basically, even at 60 mind, I would have 120. 120 FP, or in this case 119 FP at mind of 60, 119. So that still won't be enough to, after I summon Oleg, to summon another character. It will only be Oleg. So even at mind of 60, that's not enough to summon another level 100 character like Oleg into combat. So even if I add another 30 onto that mine, even if I get mine to 100, I still won't be able to summon another powerful character like Oleg that has the FP cost of 100. Still at mine of 100, still won't be able to summon another level 100 character, because this is why I'm thinking Oleg is a level 100 character, because it costs 100 FP. Kindness level 80 characters cost 80 FP. That's at least how I'm seeing it. So, okay, so every 30 FP, I mean, my FP is at 173, so I could summon Oleg once and then summon another one of these guys, but it won't be able to summon Kaiden. So at 30 mine, I can summon Kaiden and Oleg, but if I want to summon Oleg twice, I would have to have at least 180. No, not even. Yeah, I would probably have to be 190 or 200. 200 FP to summon Oleg twice. So basically, he costs 100 FP, and I'm at 173, 89. Yeah. So 30 more. I would say 30 more FP. 30 more FP for Oleg to be summoned a second time, and 30 more FP. I believe that's you jumped. Because I think it jumps every 10 FP once you level it up. No, it jumps every 5 FP. Or no, it jumps every 4 FP once you level it up once. So if I level mine up once, it'll be like 170 something, or 78 or 79. Yes, like 77 or something. And then after I level it up again to 32, it'll go past 180, and it'll be like 181, 182, and to 33 it'll go past that to the mid 80s, and to 34 it'll go past the mid 80s to late 80s, and 35 it'll be in the early 90s, like 190, 191, 192, 193, something around those, but it won't be mid 90s. And 34, I mean 36, 37, 38, and 39 will get me to yeah, basically a mind of 39. Mind of 39 or 40 will get me to 200 FP. So at 40 mind, I'll be at 200 FP. That means I'll be able to summon Oleg twice at a mind of 200, a mind of 40 for 200 FP to summon Oleg twice. Now if I want to summon Oleg 4 times, yeah, basically if I want to summon Oleg 4 times, I would have to have a mind of 80. Yeah, definitely. Alright, if I'm going to summon Oleg like 4 times, my mind will have to be at 80 to summon Oleg 4 times. And that's like if you're fighting super hard bosses, you would need to summon Oleg 4 times 80. So basically, if you're fighting a level 100 boss, the minimum you should be able to have if you're struggling is to have your character like Oleg to be able to summon 4 times. So the minimum you should have your mind at 80 if you're having really struggling with fighting a boss but you have a powerful summons. Minimum of 80. But if you really want to ease in the burden even further, if you have your mind to 50, so yeah, if you have your mind to 50, 80, 90, 100. So every 10 mind you get 30 FP. At least that's what I'm guessing. So if I go to 50, that's 230 at 50. Won't be able to get Oleg to be summoned a 5th time at 230 FP, because then I'm missing like 80 more FPs. So 50, 60, 70, 80. Yeah, mine of 80, 90, 100, 110. Alright, so I could summon Oleg 4 times with mine of 40. No, I could summon Oleg 2 times with a mine of 40 and 4 times with a mine of 80. And I guess wow, if I throw in another 40 on that, on 180, I mean another 40 on another 40 on 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. So at 120 mind, then I should be able to summon Oleg for a 5th time. But I probably won't be able to summon him for a 6th time, or I should be able to summon him for a 6th time. Because if it's at 40, I could summon, because at 173 FP, I'll already be able to summon him once. But I'm missing at least 30 more FP to be able to summon him a 2nd time. But if I get my mind up to 40, that's the 2nd time. So 200 FP at 40 is summoning Oleg twice. And double that, mine at 80, double that 40 at 80, I'll be able to summon Oleg 4 times. And then put another 40 on that, on that 80 to get you like 120. I should be able to summon Oleg 6 times. So at 120 you should be able to summon Oleg 6 times. And at 100, level 100, should be able to summon Oleg 5 times. I could be off, it could be 110, but it's probably 100. At level 100 mind, should be able to summon Oleg 5 times. So if you're really struggling and you really can't defeat an enemy by yourself, and you're dodging for dear life, and you're definitely trying to survive against a powerful enemy, and you need FP, not just for you to cast abilities, but to summon as well. Basically, the game is telling you have to have 100 mind. If you want to summon a character like Oleg 4 or 5 times, and then what remaining FP you have, you use it to casting spells. But then it really depends on how you're going to play. You want to really summon your character like Oleg more than 3 times, or you want to save like half of your FP at -100, half of your FP at -100 for Oleg, and the other half for yourself. Like you summon Oleg twice, only twice, and the other half, actually you summon Oleg 3 times, and the other half at level 100 for yourself. Or you get the game up to 120 FP at, you get your level up to 120 mind for a maximum of more than 600 FP, and should be able to summon your character Oleg 3 times, and then the remaining FP should be used towards magic while you're casting, while Oleg is fighting. Because if you want to distribute both FP towards casting magic from a distance while Oleg is doing close quarters combat, you have to have your mind up to a minimum of 100 to 120 if you're trying to distribute FP points evenly between you and your summons for casting spells and for summons. So that's if I get my FP up to have more than enough FP to cast Oleg at least a minimum of 4 times, and then the remaining times of FP cost that I have on my person will be used towards casting spells. But I'm not going to get to that anytime soon based on what I'm seeing here. There's no way. I'll be lucky if I get to mind of 60 before next week. So it's just to level up your mind to that high level right now would push you past the 200 marker of your character's level to go over. Well, if you level up right now to get it to, if I my mind up to 40 to 50 or even to 60, it would still be below level 2. But I believe once I go past 60, my level will go past 60, 70, 80, 90. Yeah, once I add like 40 more levels to mine. Once I go past 70, and I go past 70, I go into like, I believe 200, 201. That's when it starts to become a huge issue with regards to ruins, because you're no longer within the 170, 180, or even 190 ruins to farm in order to get you past that level 200 marker. You would need like more than 200 ruins per each level past 200. More than 200,000 ruins past level 200. So at level, if you cap at level 200, you then require like 200,000 ruins per each level, like 201, 202, 203. To keep anything going past your level of 200 will require 200,000 ruins per each of those levels, and it just keeps going up. So that's a lot of ruins once you go past level 200, and that will be a problem. That's why I say mine getting to level 100 or even to level 80 is not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy at all, because even if I reach mine at 70, by the time I go past 70, before mine is 70, my level will already be past 200. And then the rune count will be in the 200,000 category. So once mine goes past 70, that's when the real struggle starts to kick off. At least I believe it's once mine goes past 70. It could be past 80, that's when the 200,000 count starts going. But either way, whether 70 or 80, It's going to get larger past level 80 for sure, at 200,000 runes per level as you go up. So I'm not going to get to a mine of anywhere past 80. I'm not even worried about mine of 100 yet, but I'm not going to get anywhere past a mine of 80 anytime soon. I'll be lucky if I reach a mine of 80 before this week is over, but I doubt it, because there's no way I could get 200,000 runes before Monday of next week. That's tons of grinding and time, which I don't have for that. So I'm gonna cut it short here, and I'm gonna fight Radon, probably with a mine of 40. That's it. So I'll be able to summon Oleg once, and then I'll summon the lesser summons, but that's it. Or if things go the way I believe, my FP is gonna go towards these characters out here, and I summon them into combat, and then what remaining FP I have I use against Radon. So that's how I'm playing it. I don't really want to increase my level, but the thing is, in this game I'm trying to increase certain things that I want, but whatever I'm trying to increase that I want, increase my level. So I don't have no choice. And when you increase certain things that you want, it also increases other things, because certain things are joined together. So yeah, I really didn't want to increase my level, but the moment I increase anything, the level increases regardless, which means the rune requirements will increase regardless. So yeah, I'm going good. What I will probably invest in tomorrow is most within mind, but also some within endurance. Because I notice I'm trying to carry multiple equipment here, but my endurance is not keeping up with the equipment, so I had to take one off. So for tomorrow, I'm just going to up my endurance probably to 35, and mine to above 35 as well. Actually, no, I'm going to up my mind to 40 and endurance to 35, which means I'm going to grind more than anything tomorrow with regards to ruins rather than play the game. So that's the main thing, to get my mind up to 40 and endurance up to 35. So one, I could carry heavier equipment, and two, I could cast summons and have enough for FP to cast abilities at the same time. I really don't want to play it this way, but there are certain things that I need to have up in order to fight stronger enemies. My intelligence needs to be up, so when I cast the abilities, it hurts them more. My mind needs to be up, so when I cast the intelligence ability of the spell, I could keep doing it over and over and over again for mind. And my FP also has to be up, so that I could summon a character while I'm casting the ability with my intelligence up. And since the game doesn't give me a lot of Somber Smithing Stone 5 and 6, you have to do more explorations. I had to increase the level to where it is, because I'm not being offered the type of summoning smithing stones that I want early game, so most of it had to be invested towards strength, because the smithing stones I want aren't distributed, and you have to spend tons of time just to find them. Even if you find guides, you have to go past certain areas, beat certain enemies, and with weak weapons that happen to the level, it doesn't work that way. So I really probably didn't need my strength up to this max amount, but I only had it up to that because my weapons aren't strong. They're at level 4 now, and since I'm using heavy weapons are based on strength more than anything. So the more you invest strength within your strength category, the harder the weapon hits, not just you leveling the weapon itself. So even though this is hitting at 200 damage, because I have a strength beyond 60, actually a strength of 60, because I believe the sword seal increased it. So let me take the sword seal off. Yeah, so with the sword seal off, the strength is at 61, so that benefits towards the damage of my weapon by a significant amount. So yeah, and so until I find 5 and 6, it's going to be an issue to actually do lots of damage against stronger enemies coming towards the middle to the end point of the game. That's why I needed the strength to be up, because I don't have the smithing stones for that, and I haven't found locations to get those smithing stones yet. So I'm playing it a smart way. I'm trying to figure out how to balance everything off, to get a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and at the same time knowing that the enemies aren't exactly the same types. The game is going to mix up brute enemies along with sorcerers both at the same time, because it's assuming that you'll invest a lot into one category and a little into the other. But if you make a hybrid build, because I'm all about the hybrid, and you put a little bit in each of everything, you'll be able to resist a little bit of each of everything before you straight out die. So my main thing in this game is to go for a strength build. So that's what I'm going for, a strength build on heavy weapons and holy. So I'm investing in faith, I'm investing in magic, I'm investing in strength, I'm investing in vigor, and I'm investing in mind. Not so much in dexterity, and not so much in arcane. However, I should up my arcane, because if I'm going to use poison mist, I believe poison mist is probably arcane, I need to get that up to about a good 30. But that's based on exploration, not when you're fighting bosses. Poison mist won't like work for jack shit. So maybe I should just get arcane up to 20 or to 25. But if I have everything 20 all around, and I'm good. So what I'll do is I'll make sure my mind is up to 40. I'll make sure my endurance is up to 30 right now. I'll make sure my arcane is up to 20, and that's it. I'm going to leave, actually, then I'll make sure my vigor is up to 50, because Radon isn't easy, so you can't go into fight with him with just a level 40 off your vigor. I mean, you can, but if you want the fight to be easier, you need to get it up to a level 50. So I'm going to have that at 50, mine at 40, endurance at 30, arcane at 20, and I might not cast a lot of casting spells, but if I really want those casting spells to do damage, I'll need to get that intelligence up to about 40, because I cast those rock slings at people before, and it only took about 25% health from people who are very strong. So that means my intelligence has to be stronger than 30 in order to do damage. Basically, you probably did like 30% damage. So basically 30 means 30% damage. 30 intelligence means 30% damage. If I get my intelligence up to 40, I could do 40% damage. If I cast the ability again, it takes 80% damage towards them. And most enemies have like a bar that's like a full 100% bar. So if I cast a rock sling ability at 40%, it would knock the health down to about the halfway mark or below the halfway mark ability. So if I cast a rock spell, a rock sling like 2 more times, they're straight out dead if they're very powerful. If they're weak, they'll probably die with just 2 hits of rock sling from a casting spell. If they're strong, they'll take about 4 abilities, 4 casting of that spell before they go down at 40. So I'm just doing the math with all this and see how things work out, because I know every enemy in this game is different in a way, and the game's going to mix up all the different type of enemies together all at once to defeat you. So if you balance out your builds for any type of enemy set that's going to come at you, you should survive. But most enemies are going to charge at you to get that last hit off when you're infected by something, or when your body's weak, or you're immune to something. And that's when you need to up your defense more than anything, because when you get that final hit, you'll go down, but if you're resistant to that final hit, you'll still stay up. So your defense need to be up. So my endurance will always need to be up, and vigor will always need to be up more than anything. Endurance and vigor. So that's my thing for my hybrid build more than anything. Endurance, vigor, and then everything else is second nature. Because the enemies are going to close in. They're either going to close in or going to shoot from a far distance to end you off. So intelligence, endurance, and vigor. Those are the ones. Because endurance means you can take more of damage and resistance to things, whether it's long range attacks, slow or close quarters attack. And then intelligence also means they do more damage for their attacks based on the intelligence and scaling. And if your health is low, it won't matter how much your resistance is, your health is going to go away if you don't have enough health to resist it, even though you have good endurance resistance. So those are the three main things I believe are essential for my hybrid build. And then for close quarters combat, I make sure I increase my strength in order to withstand or to punish them with attacks, basically. So I didn't need my strength to be up that high. I just needed my strength to be up it well enough, to be honest with you. Like I said, my strength is only high simply because I don't have the smithing stones to make it them level 8. Otherwise, I wouldn't waste that amount of strength into the strength capabilities. My strength will probably still be at 30 strength right now, and those points would have gone into endurance and intelligence and vigor. But without those smithing stones on a heavy weapon, I need to invest into that strength. So that's it for this video. I gotta hop on Warframe. I'm gonna do that right now. I'll continue my stream, but it won't be this game. It'll be Warframe.